So, as I was saying, my parents took me to church. Nowadays, as we get older, we are consumed by electronics, our social media, television, friends, dating, or drugs. And we don't have time for church. Just a moment. Let me take this caller. Hello, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
Go ahead, Vicky. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning. This is Vicki Adams calling.
Hi, Vicky. You tuned in to Growing in Grace. I understand you have an event coming up this weekend. Would you like
Oh,
to tell us
yeah,
about it, please?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to be at the Joseph Walker Williams Center this Saturday, the 19th, from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. This is going to be our very first Men and Boys Read event.
Yes.
And listen, we're excited about it. We've got some wonderful men who are going to be reading to boys. And parents have been asking me all along if they can bring the girls. Of course, you can bring the girls, but the reading materials and all of the activities around the reading for this event is going to be directed specifically towards boys between the ages of 5 and 12.
Vicky, why was this event set up? And can you give us a little more detail, please?
Oh, sure. Now, first of all, I want everyone in the audience to know that I am an educator. And I was speaking with some other educators, and we had a major concern about this new Michigan law. And I don't know if the parents in the audience are aware of it, but this is the first year that the law takes effect. And if students cannot read or demonstrate they can read by the end of the third grade when they take the M-STEP test, they're going to be retained. Now, for the city of Detroit, only 12% of the students passed the reading test last year. So that means we're talking about 88% or close to 98% of the students possibly being retained. And, you know, it's one of those things where no one seems to be talking about it. And it was something that bothers me because I'm a big proponent of literacy and children reading. Also, there's a concern about boys reading. It's been a concern for a very long time. It appears that boys kind of shut down with reading by the time they get to the third grade.
Right.
So the purpose and one of the goals of the program is for boys to see men actually do the reading. I believe that one of the problems with our young boys is that they rarely see men actually reading books. And I don't know about you, but when I grew up, my grandfather and my father, they used to all read the newspaper. We actually saw them visibly reading. And we're just hoping that if young boys, young men, can see men reading, it'll encourage and motivate them to do the same thing. We got a wonderful program laid out for the children. We also have something I think is very exciting. Christopher Paul Curtis, he's a world-renowned author from Flint, wrote many books, but he's mostly known for The Watsons Go to Birmingham and another book entitled Bud Not Buddy. But he's an African-American author, and like I said before, he's won many awards. He's known all over the world, and he'll also be there speaking. So we just look forward to people coming in and enjoying themselves. Bring those boys.
Okay, Vicky, why do you think kids are not reading more? Do you think they're spending too much time on the social media, the electronics, or watching cartoons? When my kids was in school, both of them was grown now. One is deceased, but when they was in elementary, their teachers, in the summertime, they will have them to come up there and enroll in a reading program. And when they get done, they get some coupons for Pizza Hut or something. But now times it don't seem like the parents are educating the kids. They send them to the school, they expect the school to do it all, and we have a responsibility to see if they have homework or to help them in everything.
Absolutely. Well, the children have they have many more options than we used to have.
Yes.
And they take advantage of the options for things like the video games, or, they do all kind of things on the cell phones. They are into social media. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but there's a limit to everything. We shouldn't be allowing our students and our children to put down books and not read, just because they have a video game or they have a television or they have a cell phone. Children need to read more. And it's actually, if you want to produce good readers, you just have to have the children read. Once they learn how to do it, or you start buying things that they enjoy reading, then you'll find that we'll start having more students read, more boys read, and I think they'll start to do better on things like the standardized tests. They're going to take every year. It doesn't go away. So
Right.
I'm encouraging parents to not only come out to the event, but after the event. By the way, I did want to say we're going to have a couple of tutoring companies there. So if you feel your child needs additional support, there'll be someone there for the parents to speak with, and possibly, sign up their children so they can, get support outside of those 2 hours. And you're right about one thing. The teachers can't do it all themselves. Parents are a big part of it. They may not be able to do it as well. I had one parent tell me something that I knew about. We also have a very high literacy rate among adults in Detroit.
Uh-huh.
The father himself was concerned about his 2-year-old son, and, you just kind of assume many people can read. But when he told me, and he was a young man, he wasn't, an older gentleman. He was, 25, 26, maybe 30. He said he couldn't read. So
Yes.
he was concerned about his son being able to read. So we've got a lot of work to do in the city of Detroit to produce a culture of readers. Right now, the focus is on our children because it's going to be a big hit if we
Right.
get 90% of our third-grade students not passing that MSTEP test.
Mhm.
So, yes, very concerned, but at the same time, this event is designed to motivate boys, and we're hoping they walk away inspired.
I've been saying for the last 30 years, I used to say education helps the nation. I used to say education saves the nation, but I have
Yes.
since revised and say education helps the nation, but salvation saves the soul. And
Absolutely.
when we was coming up raising our kids, me and my wife would always take our kids to the PTA meetings. We take them to Parents Teachers Conference, or I volunteer for the LSCO and everything, so I can understand what was going on in school, and also I have an open door with my my kids' teacher and everything. So if they was weak in something, we can get right on it and everything.
Listen, we need parents to be involved, one way or the other. One wonderful thing that I can say that is just inspiring to me is the number of men who are taking times out of their busy schedules. I mean, men who are working full-time, some men working 2 jobs, to take the time to actually come out and read. And,
Yes.
it doesn't take a long time. Some of them are going to come by and read and then go on to work, which is just absolutely fabulous because they feel the need is important. So we want our parents to know that there are people in the community who want to support and help the children get from where they are now to where they have the potential to go. But we also want parents to understand, you got to get in there and do that work and make sure your child is where they need to be. Talk to those teachers, get additional help if you need support. Read to your children. Make sure that your children are reading themselves. So we got a long way to go, but I believe that we can get there.
Amen.
If everybody just kind of pulls together, it takes a village. That phrase may sound cliche-ish to some people, but it is still the absolute truth. It
Right.
takes a village to get this done, and we want our children to be successful.
Right. Let me ask you something. What do you feel about the No Child Left Behind law? What do you think about that?
Okay, well, now the No Child Left Behind law has passed. We're talking now about the House, I think it's Bill 4822. That's specifically for Michigan. That particular law is the one that kicks in with the third grade rule. But what schools in the state of Michigan, in terms of standards, is using right now, as what we call the Common Core standard. And I'm glad you mentioned that because parents actually need to educate themselves on what the Common Core standards are. What's good about it is that you can go online, just Google Common Core standards, and you can actually see what is expected for your child to learn every single year. And that's what they're tested on. So it's not a difficult thing to do. Like I said before, it's the Common Core. You go online. You can look at it. You can study it. You can discuss it with your child if you have to. Discuss it with your child's teacher. But that is what's determining what's being taught in schools in Michigan, not only with reading but with math and science and social studies.
Right. Okay.
And in terms of how I feel about it, I feel that, there has to be some kind of standard. I don't have a problem with standards, but very often we get into situations where we have the standards, but the children don't get the support that they need. If the children are receiving the support they need so they can be successful, I don't have problems with standards. But we've got a lot of problems in the state of Michigan in terms of Michigan doing its job with reading. Right now, we are ranked, I think, within the bottom 10% of states for students passing reading. So we have quite a bit of work to do in our state as well. So it's not so much the standard. It's if the children are being taught, and that depends on your school's curriculum. Is your child's school, do they have a curriculum that is in line with the standards? That's actually one major question parents can ask. You go to your school and ask, is your curriculum in line with the state standards? Because if it's not, then the children probably aren't going to do very well. And then parents can also educate themselves on what their children need to learn, so that by the time the MSTEP rolls around in April, towards April and May, they'll be ready for it.
Right. You said a mouthful, but some people think the No Child Left Behind law is designed for failure because they feel that if a child can't read, do math, or arithmetic, and it's time for them to graduate, the school just push them aside and let them graduate. When we was coming up, we had to have a certain amount of hours. I don't remember, 160, 180. But also, we have a lot of public schools competing against these private and parochial schools, and some of these schools are not tested, and I hear that some of the people don't have, some of the teachers doesn't have a degree and everything for the academy school.
Right.
And Detroit is losing a lot of, students to these schools that's not really tested and everything and proven, are very much better than the Detroit public school. Well, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I do believe that all schools should be held to the same standard. Now, I'm talking about public schools. It's different when you're comparing parochial schools or religious institutions or private schools to public schools. But if the school is a public school, which means public charter schools as well as traditional public schools, I believe they should all be held to the same standard. Absolutely.
Correct. Back to your event for this weekend. For those that don't know about the Joseph William Center, can you give them a location on the west side and where is it at?
Yes, it's at 8431 Rosa Parks Boulevard, and it's between Claremont and Euclid in the Virginia Park community. Most people have a pretty good idea where that's located. But again, it's the event is October the 19th from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We would like for you to be there as early as possible. And I'll give the address again if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, 8431 Rosa Parks Boulevard. And that's in Detroit between Claremont and Euclid. If you would like a phone number, I can leave a phone number with you. If your listeners have a question, they can call me.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay, 734-883-2514.
Okay. And for those that's not familiar with that area, or if you're on the west side, it's on Rosa Parks, which was renamed 12th, and those that used to go to the Farmer Jack's over there, it's right next door to the former Farmer Jack's. I don't know what's the name of the store now, but the Joseph Walker Williams Center is right next door from what old Farmer Jack's used to be, and that
Yes,
was between the Boulevard and Claremont, and I
yes, sir.
believe she said on Euclid Street in
Between
Rosa
Euclid and
Park.
Claremont, yes.
Right. And is this event is pretty successful this weekend? Would this be an annual event every
You
year
know
or
something? I
quarterly?
am. I didn't mean to cut you off,
Oh,
but
go
I am
ahead.
so surprised by just the support, and I'm being asked by the men. I've been told we should do it just once a year. We should do it more than once a year. So the plan is to sit down after the event and see what we can continue to do.
Right. That sounds pretty good. Um, if you could elaborate, would you like to name some of the vendors will be there, or if not, you can go into something else.
Well, I really would like to give a shout out to our team. I have a
Go
wonderful
ahead,
team.
please.
This is the very first time that we've actually pulled something like this together. And Mercy Jones, Sharon Adams, Julian Witherspoon III, those are the three people who have worked so hard with me to get this up and going. And then we've also had other people from the community, people who just heard about the event, donating time and volunteering. We've got a young man coming down who's a positive rap artist. His name is Trey Bance. We have a storyteller who'll be there, Mr. Graham. We have a wonderful comedian. I don't know if you don't know him, you know him Saturday. He's hilarious. His name is Josiah Jones. And these are all people who have pitched in. We do have a couple of extra vendors who will be there selling products we think boys will love. I've got a company there selling slime. I know boys just love that slime. So they'll be there. And like I said before, some of the tutoring companies, Kumon and another tutoring company, oh my goodness, just slipped my mind. But they will also be there and to service parents if you need help.
Right.
Okay? And we have a couple of extra spaces. Oh, I do also want to mention that Michigan Barber College will be there giving boys free haircuts. So I want to give a shout out to them for
Okay.
that as well.
Right. Now, what if there are any teachers in the audience or educators would like to volunteer? How can they get involved?
Okay, they now just call me, and we still have needs. We have a couple of greeters. If they would like to be a greeter on that day, that's fine. But if they were trying to you're talking about teachers who want to work with us as time goes on.
Right.
Yeah, they can call me and listen. We'll find something for you to do. It's a whole lot of work.
Amen.
But
Give
it's
that
for a great cause.
right. Give that address out again, please.
Sure, it's 8431 Rosa Parks Boulevard.
Yes.
It is in Detroit between Claremont and Euclid. It's at the Recreation Center. So there's a whole shopping area there. And you mentioned the old Farmer Jack. There's a Family Dollar there now.
Okay.
A beauty supply store. There's a Chinese restaurant, and there is also a Spartan's grocery store. But that's in one part of the mall area. Then next to it is the recreation center.
Okay. Vicky, I don't know if I asked or if the listeners might want to know, is this event gratis or is it a charge to come?
No, it's absolutely free. We just want you to come on down. No charge at all.
Amen. So what more can you ask for? If you don't have nothing to do this Saturday, go down and learn more about what they're doing on the west side or how it can help your kids improve their education, or if you just want to get more detail.
Okay, come down and watch those men read. I don't think too many people have seen. Our children haven't seen men reading, and that's what we want them to see. Men reading.
Right. So I encourage everyone that's have children, grandchildren, or just want to see your kids improve in reading or in their grades, please participate in this event. And if you have any information, you can call Vicky. If there's anything else you'd like to say? Was there anything else you'd like to say? Okay, I want to thank you for tuning in to Growing in Grace. Thank you, Vicky. I I asked anybody that wanted to get information to call Vicki for more detail or come to the Joseph Walker Center in Rosa Parks. And until next week, you've been watching Growing in Grace, and I'm your host, Chico Whitaker. Thank you, and Maranatha.